Are live. We'll do it live. Okay, good. All right, so let's do some debunking of Mike Pence right here. Let's listen to this.
Raided convents, arrested priests, has effectively banned a denomination, a Christian denomination, the Ukrainian Orthodox Church within Ukraine, has persecuted Christians. And I wonder if you raised that with him.
I did raise the issue when we were there. And I raised it with the leader of the Orthodox Church when I was visiting Kyiv and asked him about concerns about religious liberty. He assured me that the Zelensky government in Ukraine was respecting religious liberty, even while recognizing that there were very small elements of the Russian Orthodox Church that were in Kyiv, and asked him about concerns about religion.
Okay, so the leader that he's talking about is most likely this person right here, Father Epifani Domenko. Okay, so here's the thing. Epifani, he's the leader of the OCU. He's not the leader of the UOC. The actual leader of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church is Father Onufry. This is Father Onufry. So he is the actual leader of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church. This is the leader of the OCU. And so Mike Pence is already lying if he's talking about Father Onufry, because Father Onufry knows that basically the government is persecuting the church over there in Ukraine. Father Epifani Domenko, he would actually deny it and say, oh, that's not true. And of course, I would have no doubt that Father Domenko probably went with the narrative, oh yeah, elements of the Moscow Patriarchate, they're the ones being a major nuisance. And so let's go back to Pence right here.
Religious liberty. He assured me that the Zelensky government in Ukraine was respecting religious liberty, even while recognizing that there were very small elements of the Russian Orthodox Church that were being utilized for the purpose of advancing the Russian cause in Ukraine. And that
none of that is true. So basically, the UOC was part of the Moscow Patriarchate, but they were still an independent Ukrainian Orthodox Church. They're called the Ukrainian Orthodox Church of the Moscow Patriarchate, but they were still an independent Ukrainian church. The vast majority of Ukrainian citizens are members of the UOC. Ukrainian soldiers, like the ones who claim to be Orthodox, a lot of them are members of the UOC, not the OCU.
that they were taking steps to hold them to account. But the leader of the church at St. Michael's in Kyiv told me personally that he believed that the Zelensky government was respecting religious liberty. And I must tell you, other than the sanctity of life, there's no higher priority in my life.
So basically, it's not just Zelensky. From 2014 and up until now, the Ukrainian government has been seizing churches in eastern, southern, western, and northern Ukraine, basically all over the country. And they've been seizing churches, seizing parishes from the UOC community. And the UOC is the majority church, by the way. The UOC is the majority church. Now, in 2014 up until 2019, it's been low key. They'll seize a few parishes here and there and probably hand them over to the Greek Catholics who are not Orthodox. And then then when Zelensky came to power, things started to escalate more and more. And then with the Russian invasion, all of a sudden, they were given an excuse to just basically just seize parishes. Now, in 2022, there's the major controversy. The reason why this came to light recently, and despite the fact that the Ukrainian government was already persecuting the Ukrainian Orthodox Church, the reason why Tucker is bringing this up now in 2023 is because, like, at the end of 2022, there's a huge scandal in Kiev regarding the Kiev-Pechersk Lavra, a holy site for the Ukrainian Orthodox Church, not just for the Ukrainian Orthodox Church, but for every Orthodox jurisdiction that exists. It's basically a sacred site and everything. It's a sacred location, and the OCU wanted to seize that for no reason. They had no legitimate reason to seize that, and they're trying to do this with the hands of the government. So imagine this. Imagine you have a church somewhere, like Pastor Bob's in charge of this church, but then Pastor Bill wants to take over the church building, and he uses the police to take over the building. Like, imagine this happening in America, right? Imagine literally Pastor Bob is, doing his preaching, then all of a sudden cops walk in to interrupt Pastor Bob and tell him, okay, you and everyone who follows you should just get out of this building. We're handing over this building to Pastor Bill. So, Pastor Bob has two choices: to just kind of give up and walk away, or Pastor Bob could just stand up and fight for his rights and just stay where he's at. Just say, no, I'm not moving from this pulpit, right? And there are lots of videos of this happening in Ukraine, where the Ukrainian Orthodox priests are being forced forced outside of their own temples, and the priests are just standing there in place, like they're not moving. Like some priests, they will submit, but they'll submit peacefully, because they don't want anyone in their church to avenge them. They don't want anyone in their church to, get in trouble for them. So they'll say, "Hey guys, calm down. I'll walk away peacefully." And they're talking to their parishioners. They're telling their parishioners, "Hey, everyone relax. I don't want you guys to get in trouble. So, I'll just kind of submit myself to the authorities." But then, you have all these incidents, right? This has been happening for 8 years in a row, and the West was silent. They were silent about this issue. And the OCU, the minority church, they're the ones who are seizing a lot of this property. And the OCU was created in 2018, basically by the Ukrainian government. Now, some so-called Orthodox experts might say, "Oh no, the EP has blessed this and it's fine." Okay, but then why is the OCU using the power of the government to seize temples from the same or from another Orthodox jurisdiction? Right? Basically, this is the wrong combination of church and state right there. Yeah, and so the OCU is basically was created in 2018 to create an Orthodox church loyal to the Kiev government, essentially loyal to the NATO, basically. And majority of Ukrainian citizens, even the ones fighting against Russia, majority of Ukrainian citizens are still members of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church of the Moscow Patriarchate. And Mike Pence is basically, telling you guys lies right here. He's saying, "Oh yeah, I talked to the leader of the Orthodox Church in Ukraine." It's like, yeah, I bet you were talking to Epiphany. You were not talking to Onufry, because if you were talking to Onufry, Father Onufry would tell you how it really is. How, yes, we're being persecuted here. I'm pretty sure he would tell you that. But Mike Pence most likely did not talk to Father Onufry. He talked most likely to Father Epiphany. Father Epiphany is the leader of the OCU. And also, a lot of Orthodox jurisdictions still don't really recognize the OCU. So there's that. But Mike Pence is literally lying here when he says, "Oh, I talked to the leader." Yeah, you talked to a leader of the minority church. The minority church, not the majority church. You're talking to the leader of the minority church, which openly submits itself to the government.
Than preserving the freedom of religion in America and championing religious liberty around the world.
I'm confused. On this question, it's very clear that the Zelensky government has arrested priests for having views they disagree with. That's not consistent with religious liberty. It's an attack on it, and we're funding it. And I'm just wondering how is it, and I don't mean to be disrespectful at all, but I sincerely wonder how a Christian leader could support the arrest of Christians for having different views.
Well, what I can tell you is I asked the Christian leader in Kiev if that was in fact happening, and he assured me that it was not.
I mean, it was not happening to members of the OCU, and it's not happening to the members of the UGCC, but it's happening to the UOC. And Mike Pence obviously either just doesn't know the difference, or he just knows about all this and he's just like not going to further details like I am. Like I'm explaining to you guys right now that the OCU, yes, they're being left alone. The UGCC, they're left alone. But the UOC, the Ukrainian Orthodox Church, which is still the majority church, they're the ones being officially persecuted by the government. And Mike Pence is lying to all of you when he says, "Oh, the leader assured me." Who? Father Epiphany? Did Father Epiphany assure you? Yeah, of course he would, because the OCU is being left alone, while the UOC is being persecuted. And of course, people in the audience, they don't know this stuff. They don't know anything about this.
People were not being persecuted for their religious beliefs. Now,
He said
let me take a break here. I know we disagree on this strongly, but I respect your right to your opinion on Ukraine, and I trust you'll respect mine. Look, I've been to Ukraine now twice.
Yeah, I've been to Ukraine now twice. Okay, I guess that makes him an expert.
My wife and I traveled into Ukraine a month after the initiation of hostilities. We traveled then with a group called Samaritan's Purse, providing Christian relief to the millions of Ukrainians, women and children of every age that had to flee that country in the face of the unprovoked Russian invasion that began a year and a half ago. I did return, took an 11-hour train ride into Kyiv, also again with Samaritan's Purse. We not only met with government leaders, but we met with Christian relief workers. We're literally rebuilding homes of people in small towns, little hamlets, that a year ago were being shelled by Russian tanks.
Yeah, so where were these Christian relief organizations in the Donbass that were being shelled 8 years in a row by the Ukrainian government? Where were these so-called Christian organizations? By the way, like a lot of these Protestant organizations, they're not Christian organizations. They're just basically Fed fronts pretending to be missionaries. That's all they are. Samaritan's Purse and others. Like basically, there's always some kind of spy amongst them, and like just doing espionage. Yes, and these Christian organizations, they're not interested in helping people rebuild homes. They're only interested in people who are loyal to NATO. These Christian organizations, they were nowhere near in the Donbass. They were not in the Donbass, fixing people's homes that were being bombed by the Ukrainian government for 8 years in a row before Russia even invaded. Most people don't even know that there was a civil war in Ukraine for 8 years in a row before Russia invaded. And unfortunately, a lot of people in the audience, they don't know this. And Mike Pence, he knows that people don't know this, and he's happy about that. And so that's why he's able to just straight up lie to the people. Because he knows like he's in a situation where there's no one to correct him. And Tucker Carlson's doing a great job. He's doing a very good job, but even Tucker, like he's not as detailed about the whole situation as well. But on the bright side, Tucker is actually pointing out the situation, saying, hey, there's actual persecution going on. Aren't you supposed to be, a Christian standing up for Christian rights? And Mike Pence is just lying. He's not a Christian. He's just straight up lying, saying, oh yeah, like, we were with Samaritan's Purse helping people rebuild houses. Get out of here. Just a lying piece of... Oh, forgive me. Whoa. Yeah, it's hard to hold back sometimes. But here he's straight up lying. He's leading people into confusion. That's what he's doing here. Like, so I doubt that he talked to the leader of the Ukrainian church. And when I say Ukrainian church, I'm talking about Metropolitan Onufry, not Father Demenko.
All the people in that community were just sitting in their homes. I mean, the truth is, what I saw was not just evidence of war, but I saw evil. And I believe that it is in the interest of the United States of America to continue to give the Ukrainian military the resources.
Evil. Speaking of evil, again, how come you were silent about the genocide of the innocent people in the Donbass? Like you were silent about that for 8 years, Mr. Pence. So don't talk about evil right now. Like you're the one promoting evil. And on top of that, the Ukrainian government to this very day, despite the fact that the Russian invasion has been kind of distracting the Ukrainian military on different fronts, the Ukrainian government is still hyper-focused on Donetsk and Lugansk, on the whole Donbass region, and they're still bombing the crap out of them. That's evil. Because this is no longer 8 years in a row. This is 9 years in a row now, and they're still bombing them to this very day. That's evil right there. Even now, the people of Donetsk still live in fear because the Ukrainian military is still not too far from their city, bombing the crap out of them. That's evil. That is straight up evil. And, by the way, Mr. Pence is evil too.
That they need to repel the Russian invasion and restore their sovereignty.
Yeah, the Russian invasion happened because for multiple reasons, of course, but one of the reasons was to protect the people in the Donbass region as well. That was one of the many reasons. There are other reasons, but I'll not go into details, but that was one of the reasons right there. And the Ukrainian government was bombing people for 8 years in a row. You were silent.
May I ask, would you be, and I believe you have a good faith position.
Yeah, did you guys hear the clapping in the background? Like he said that, and there's only probably a few going yay, and then I think there was a little boo right there somewhere as well. I think someone did boo him, but it sounded like there's a light applause. There's still a small group of boomers probably who still believe that Ukraine is this innocent country and they were invaded for no reason at all.
On this, and we have disagreements on it, but I want to I can't let you elide over the question of the treatment of Christians and clergy.
I know, I heard
and
that
would
again.
you be, well, no, but hold on, would you
The problem
be
is you don't
willing-
accept my answer. I just told you that I asked the religious leader in Kiev if it was
No, you didn't. You did not talk to the religious leader. I highly doubt that.
happening. You asked me if I raised the issue, and I did.
And I'm saying
I also raised it
factually
with the
incorrect.
Ukrainians, and I was told that there are religious leaders who have been working with the Russian military that is murdering people by the thousands.
No, that's not true. And regarding some of the religious leaders that possibly have worked with the Russian military, they did not. It's just that there were priests who testified that the Ukrainian soldiers would randomly be shooting at their churches. For example, there will be UOC churches right there outside of some small town. And not far, there'll be some Russians several miles away, and the Ukrainians will be nearby. And let's say the Ukrainians, let's say they would have to leave the town. Before they would leave, they would actually just, for some random reason, they would go to the UOC parish, shoot it up, and then leave. And then, of course, the priest will then testify, saying, "Oh, look, this is what the Ukrainian military has done to our parish." Right? And also there were priests who would testify even after the Ukrainians would come back to a certain town. The Ukrainian Orthodox priests would still testify and say, yeah, the Ukrainian military are the ones who shot up our parishes for no reason. This is what's going on. So, and this right here, just testifying, was labeled as cooperating with the Russian military. There wasn't a cooperation. Priests are usually neutral. And they're just simply observing and seeing, okay, who's attacking us, who's protecting us. And guess what? The Ukrainian military is the one not protecting them.
Okay.
I mean, Tucker, look.
Wait, but hold on. Don't you think...
Let me explain to you what I think our national interest is there.
I would think you would have greater concern for religious liberty in Ukraine. And I'm surprised by your
I told you I
answer.
raised the issue of religious
No,
liberty.
you spoke to one person who's clearly on
say I
one
spoke to
side
one
of it, and there are many, many news reports that are not disputed by anybody that many clergy...
Tucker is correct. Basically, there's lots of videos out there, an abundance of videos that verify everything that Tucker says, that verify everything that I say. This verifies what many eyewitnesses say. There's videos, lots of videos showing this open persecution. It was ramped up in 2022. At the very end of 2022, it just went full, like it was on steroids. Like it was very small and tiny in 2014, and then in 2022, it just got ramped up. Like it went on steroids. And so this is true. There's lots of videos, lots of testimony right there showing what the Ukrainian government is doing to the priests of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church, not the OCU, but the UOC.
Have been arrested in Ukraine, and I'm merely saying I may not agree with their views. I'm not Russian Orthodox, but you can't arrest clergy.
And just to correct Tucker, those priests were not Russian Orthodox. Those priests were Ukrainian Orthodox.
For having different views, period. Because if you do, you violate the basic tenet of religious liberty.
I want to be clear with you. I won't stand by it. I won't stand for it. If people are being persecuted for their religious beliefs, I won't stand for it. In any country with which a country of our nation is supporting or our allies are supporting.
Yes.
Period, paragraph. But let me say to you, our national interest in Ukraine, I believe, is born of the fact that I spent 10 years on the Foreign Affairs Committee in the House of Representatives. I spent 4 years as Vice President. I've met Vladimir Putin. Let me tell you, if Vladimir Putin overruns Ukraine, I have no doubt that in a short period of time, that Russian military is going to cross a border of a NATO country that our armed forces...
Okay, now he's just spewing some weird boomer stuff, so like it's not even worth discussing. And my whole point was to basically just to discuss the whole religious situation. Like I'll do the politics at a later time, but right now I just want to focus on the whole Orthodox Church situation, and just to keep you guys updated, and just to let you guys know that Mike Pence is lying when he says he talked to the leader of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church. He most likely talked to Father Epifani, not Father Onufri. So just for you guys to remember, Father Epifani, leader of the OCU, Father Onufri, leader of the UOC, the actual true Ukrainian Orthodox Church. Okay, and that's it, guys. So I'm done with this broadcast. Shorter than usual, but like I might do another topic tonight, maybe another topic tomorrow. We'll see. Right, so God bless you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this